How's it going, everybody? As we're here to celebrate a win on ECH post game live presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall. It's been a long time since we've been able to have an ECH dance party on here. The music's still going. Had to get it started while we get our little dance party going after that comeback win against the Los Angeles Kings. Kraken take it 3-2 in overtime, tie the game. About 30 seconds left. Matty Beniers with that clutch goal to send it to overtime. Vince Dunn with the huge OT GWG in this one. Just good stuff. They're keeping the music on here. That's fine with me. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. But yeah, this was just a really fun game to be at. Some issues still, right? But the Kraken were able to overcome their issue with giving away points in the third period, because it very much looked like we were headed for that, right? After the Kraken give up the power play opportunity to LA late, the double minor, Riker Evans, high sticking Corey Perry. Kings get a power play goal on that pretty early on. A breakaway allowed by the PK unit. Fourth game in a row that the penalty kill has allowed a breakaway opportunity for the other team. Oh, it was tough. It was tough. You definitely know Lane Lambert was upset with that one. Called those plays specifically earlier today, this morning after morning skate, completely unacceptable. We thought we were headed down that road again with this one, but then, and it's unfortunate around Jared McCann, and we await an update. We're not going to get one tonight, as we know, but hopefully Jared McCann is okay. But he gets tripped. Penalties called against the goaltender for Los Angeles. Kraken able to come out, score on that power play, tie the game up. Matty Beniers with the huge goal. Then the rest was history. So lots to go over for this game. But the big thing for anybody joining, anybody who had to miss the game because it was on TNT, anything like that, the important thing is the losing streak is over. The Kraken get a win. They get 2 points in the standings. And hopefully, as they go on the road to take on Utah on Friday, they're able to carry and build some momentum off of this one. I don't know how you wouldn't, after tying the game with such little time left and then picking up the game winner in overtime like that. That feels like something that you can really build off of as you then go on the road. So hopefully they do. Time will tell. Got to kick us off with the Comic Binge with a super chat here. Really appreciate it. Comic Binge, done, destroyed my depression. It's been tough, right? It's been tough following this team, right? Rooting for this team. A lot of losses in a row, a lot of situations, like I said, that happened tonight, and you kind of get an idea of the way the game was going. A lot of people after that Kings goal got up and left. They were like, we've seen this. We know how this show plays out. And look, honestly, without that power play chance for the Kraken late, I don't know that it doesn't play out that way and things go down. But you do get that goal, as you say in Comic Binge, they're done getting the overtime GWG, and it was a really fun play too, because it looked like a give and go the way he makes the pass over to I got to see who had the primary assist on it, because I forget who it was, but the way that Vince Dunn has the puck kind of takes a step up. The shooting lane's not really there. He does the pass right. He gets the pass over to Tolvanen. And then he just immediately goes and gets open. And I was watching Kopitar the whole time, because he was, the one lone forward out there for the Kings on that 4-on-3 penalty. And I was really watching what he was doing. And as soon as that handoff happened between Vince Dunn and Eeli Tolvanen, Kopitar kind of slides over towards Eeli Tolvanen. He has to stay with the puck. He has to stay in that shooting lane. And because the Kings were on the PK, they had nobody capable of picking up Vince Dunn, and Vince Dunn just slid over completely uncovered, picked up his stick. He was ready to receive the puck. He was ready for a one-timer chance, gets it, is able to score the goal there. Just a really, really interesting play, and like kind of how it developed, because it felt like it was coming. Like the moment that handoff happened and the way he slid out, it just felt like one of those natural, he was going to get the puck and you knew he was going to send a bomb. And as long as it was going to be placed right, he was going to score. And of course, he was able to place it right, and he did end up scoring. Just a really fun sequence to watch. He was asked about it actually by Piper Shaw, the Kraken. Afterwards, the interview was blaring, so I couldn't start post game. but he was asked if that was a set play, and he said it was not a set play. It's just a situation that kind of developed. And he said, we all have to be selfish right now. We have to take shots when we think we can get shots. And that's what he did in overtime. And he was rewarded with the goal. And I mean, that has been the name of the game. And I do think the Kraken did a better job of getting shots in this one. It felt like that was a message that got across to the players. 33 shots on goal tonight for the Seattle Kraken's a good number for them. Yeah, just a really fun overtime sequence there, and kind of how that developed everything. Just a great one, and great job drawing the penalty as well from that second group that was out there. Pick up the penalty, really forcing the Kings back in their zone. This is a really, really well-run overtime for the Seattle Kraken in this one. Dottie with the super chat here. Winning vibes for the live stream. It's been so long. Let's go. Appreciate the super chat. That means a lot. And yeah, again, I can't even recall the last time we were celebrating a win on the post-game show, right? Like it's been forever, it feels like, since we've done this. And hopefully a lot of people are celebrating with our sponsor, Queen Anne Beer Hall. RJ and I went to the hall after the last game here. RJ got the $5 smash burger special after the game. Hopefully a lot of people are going there celebrating, having some beers, having some $5 smash burgers. Go check it out there. But yes, the winning vibes for the live stream. It has been forever. Thank you for the super chat. So happy to be able to celebrate with you and with everybody else as we get in here. The post games are cursed to kick things off, right? Everybody, the curse has been broken. The losing streak is over. Joey bounce back game. Let's go. Curse reversed. I mean, it's common thing in here that we get to celebrate this. And I will say, because I know there's later stuff, Mason with the lemon lime Gatorade time. Where was it? There was another fun one. I got Christian break out the lemon lime Gatorade. Bay. Appreciate that. But Jason, is the lemon lime Gatorade expired? So here's the thing. I stopped taking the lemon lime Gatorade for this game because I was like, maybe this will unjinx the team, because I was tired of carrying around a big thing of lemon lime Gatorade, right? Waiting for them to get a win, and it just wasn't happening. And I was like, F it. I'm taking this thing out. So I do not have lemon lime Gatorade, unfortunately, right now. I will celebrate with some later. What I will say, though, is good friend Charles, Circling Seattle Sports, has been bringing me Capri Suns. And today, for the first time, brought a strawberry kiwi, which is not normal flavor that I'm given. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe we got to switch over to strawberry kiwi Capri Suns to get this team some points in the standings and to pick up some wins right now. Maybe that's what it's going to take for this group. I will, you can all figure that out in the comment section. I will do what you all want, but I don't know. That's all I can say for this one. And again, I'm sorry I don't have the Gatorade with me for the one time they actually got the win for post game. All right. We got B in here. I have to deliberately choose not to think about Canner injured yet again because it's getting to a point I can't take it anymore. Yes, as much as we are celebrating things, the one thing that could kind of put a damper that we have to remember that kind of kicked off this whole sequence that led to the comeback win for the Kraken was Jared McCann going down. He gets tripped by Anton Forsberg, who is coming back to make a save. Like, I don't believe that it's deliberate that he, sticks his leg out and catches Jared McCann there. He came out to play the puck behind the net. Mistake to do that. Puck gets by him. Kraken are throwing it back out to the net front. That's why Jared McCann's coming in and he's streaking down the slot as fast as he is because he's trying to get there for the pass from the corner to try to score on what's an empty net, essentially. Forsberg has to come out from behind the net. In doing so, he's anticipating that shot from Jared McCann because it's going to be there. It's going to be close anyway. And so he drops into butterfly. His leg then catches Jared McCann. Jared McCann goes down awkwardly. I'm not going to speculate on what it could be because I just genuinely don't have any idea as to the nature or severity of Jared McCann's injury. But he stayed down on the ice for a long time. Didn't have to be helped back to the bench, but once he got off the ice, he did have to be helped down the tunnel and back into the room. So not a good sign there for somebody who has already missed way too much time this season and is certainly somebody that the Kraken can't really afford to lose again just given the offensive presence he has and the amount of work that he puts in and is able to do for this team. I mean, he scored on the power play in this one to kick off the scoring for this game. Just such an important member of this team. Really hope that it's nothing serious and that he's able to recover here shortly. But it just a really unfortunate play and kind of how that all went down and happened there. Jason, wow, I spent so much of that game frustrated that it's hard to adjust to enjoying the W. Well, hopefully you've had some time to adjust now, Jason, and you are in a good mood, and we can all just celebrate the win here. Invader, it's been so long for a post-game live win. It's been a long time, but we are finally getting it, and I'm so happy to see all the dancing emojis in here from everybody. That means a lot to see those again, because it had been a while since we've seen those. Really happy to be seeing those again. Got Viren in here, got Tati again. Thank you for the super chat earlier there, with the dancing emojis. Really appreciate that, everybody. Schultz, 4 goals on our power play. Granted, 1 was to the Kings. Yes, the shorty the Kings scored was unfortunate, but otherwise, big night for special teams group for the Seattle Kraken. You're able to get just a ton of power play goals in this one. I was joking about it on the Discord with people. For 2 teams that kind of have trash special teams, there was a lot of penalties called tonight. The refs, especially once the second period came around, they wanted to call everything, and they did. And it meant that the Kraken were able to get out there and get some work on the power play, and they were able to score on the power play 3 times, which is fantastic. All 3 of your goals come on the power play tonight. I think that's something that this team really needed to help turn things around and pick up a win after the losing streak. We know how important special teams are to this group, especially when you're playing another team that wants to kind of play a lower event, or at least a lower scoring, more defensive game. It means special teams becomes that much more important, and the Kraken were definitely able to win the special teams battle tonight. PK able to get some work in. I mean, yes, the Kings get a power play goal of their own, but the Kraken really made the Kings PK look a lot worse than theirs, which is something we haven't really been able to say much this year, but it is nice to be able to say that. But it does feel like a couple games ago, they realized that player movement had to be happening on the power play. I talked a lot about it yesterday on Deep Dive as a reason to maybe have some hope going into this game tonight, and then into Utah on Friday, and Buffalo back here on Sunday. The power play is starting to have that player movement that we've been talking about for years, wanting to see on the power play. They're finally getting that here. I mean, you look at the overtime goal, right? And we talked about it, that kind of give and go from Vince Dunn to Ellie Tolvanen, and they kind of trade spots, and he's able to get lost in coverage. Again, they are on the power play. It was going to be nearly impossible for the Kings to cover him, but it's still an example of what we've been talking about. Kraken are actually finally doing it, and they got rewarded for it there. Got rewarded for it earlier. I think that with the Jared McCann one, the first goal, I'd have to go back and watch it just to double check. But I think the reason he gets lost kind of in the slot and he's able to score that one was, again, because of the good player movement. I mean, he's not normally in that position on the power play. That's not where he normally sets up. He had to trade spots with somebody as the Kraken were cycling it around, and then he was able to get that goal. So there's a lot of positive signs of development on the power play. Yes, they allowed the shorty to the Kings. That's unfortunate, but I do think that the changes and the evolution of the power play does mean that we're going to see more nights like tonight, at least in the short term, right? PKs are going to start studying the tape. They're going to make counter adjustments, but that shouldn't happen for a little while. As long as the Kraken are able to stick to this, they don't get complacent, but they really do focus on that player movement, confusing the defense, taking advantages of those gaps in coverage that it creates. I think the Kraken are going to be just fine on the power play, and they're going to be able to start winning the special teams battle a little bit more. And when you're playing as many 1-goal games as they play, that makes a huge difference for you, and it'll kind of get them back to where they were at the beginning of the season when they were off to a franchise best start. So I'm very bullish right now on the Kraken power play and that getting going here. Lots of worry in chat for Jared McCann. I'm right there with you all. Again, hopefully everything's okay with him. Again, RJ will join us in a little bit, not expecting to kind of get an update from him this early after the game. At earliest, we'd get something tomorrow. I guess we'll find out because they fly out in the morning tomorrow. If he travels with the team to Utah, it's possible that he might not, just because it's only a 1-game road trip. If they want to be cautious with him, it's possible that they maybe don't do that, or if they're still waiting on medicals, right? Testing, all that kind of stuff. It's possible Jared McCann doesn't travel with them tomorrow. He could always travel day of on Friday, though. So if he doesn't travel tomorrow, it doesn't necessarily mean he'd miss the game. He would still have Friday morning to get out to Utah. It's not too far of a flight for him to take there. Super chat here from Dave. Appreciate it, Dave. As always, I honestly don't like this win. I've shifted towards cheering for losing and goals scored against us. I'm so sorry for the downer, but this is my mindset. Yeah, it is a little bit of a downer, but I appreciate the super chat done the same. And I understand where you're coming from. And it does feel like through this losing streak, a lot of the fan base has shifted back towards the idea of, tanking, if we want to call it that. Again, it's a pretty loaded word, has a lot of connotations to it when we're talking about sports teams. But I understand that. I certainly understand, though, the frustration with the win, just because it wasn't a great game from the Kraken. Like they were following the script of this losing streak and of the games that they had been dealing with up until this point, right? Like the power play was better, although you allow the shorthanded goal for LA. But I liked that first goal from McCann that we were just talking about. But otherwise, you give up the breakaway on the PK again. PK still struggling. Thankfully, you were against a Kings team that has the league worst power play, I believe. Net power play percentage coming into this one for LA of 9%. Like, just atrocious what the Kings do with the man advantage. And frankly, they were bad watching them. Kind of, don't even get me started on how bad their power play is. So like the PK was able to get a little bit of a reprieve having to face that, but you still allow a goal to it, league worst power play. And it felt like the Kraken were kind of, again, doing what they've been doing this last week, really 2 weeks, which is kind of giving away the game in the third period. And they were very much moving towards that. You're able to get the momentum there at the end. I mean, I said when they got the power play, I was like, oh, they're going to come back. Like, this is what they've needed, is as a catalyst, as a spark, something to get them going in the third period of a game. That penalty was what the Kraken needed. They're able to get the goal and then win in overtime. So important for them, and the mentality in that room, I'm sure guys have been feeling it. Trust me. But I understand the frustration with the game up until this point. I think there was positives like the power play. I mentioned the shots earlier. I do think that's a positive. I think they were trying to shoot more in this one. You're able to finally score on Anton Forsberg, it's the first goal, by the way, that Jared McCann goal that they've ever scored on him. It was like 140 something minutes where they had not scored on Forsberg. So there's positives in this one, but it still felt like overall, right? Like the Team of Destiny stuff was just completely gone. You're able to get that back here late and kind of go for it. But I understand where you were coming from at the beginning of that. There, Dave. Kitty B. Kraken with the huge super chat. Thank you very, very much, Kitty B. Kraken. $50 super chat pledge for every post-game win from here on out. Thank you guys for doing these. Make me pay. That should be what I should text that to RJ. He can hopefully tell that to the guys in the room right now, right? Because that would be fantastic, Kitty B. Kraken. Really appreciate the super chat. Really appreciate the pledge. And yeah, fingers crossed for a lot more Kraken wins. I was already on board with that idea, but that does help also. But yes, really, really appreciate the big super chat there. Very, very much appreciated. All right, Nate, Jason, I'm not sure you can build off of it unless you get 7 power play goals again. I think that this is still something. There's a lot of good that the Kraken can build off of from this game. I definitely think that they're going to be able to build off of it. And again, the special teams and the power plays moving in the right direction. That's something I just don't want to lose sight of, because I'm just so happy that we're finally seeing the player movement. I've been screaming about this into the void for 5 years, and we're finally getting it, and it's actually paying dividends. It's actually working. I don't even know what to say anymore about it. Christian, TNT arguing over the last penalty on McCann by Forsberg. I can understand the argument that he was just trying to get back to his crease and he was trying to make a save. And generally, we don't call tripping on goaltenders when they're trying to make a save. But he was out of his crease and he was like making a desperate move and he was not controlling his body well. Like, I understand why the refs decided to call that one. Like, I do think, again, normally, if he's in his crease and he's just in the process of making a save, you're never going to call tripping on the goaltender, right? Because he flares out his pad to make a pad save and it happens to catch a skater and they go down, right? Like, that's not a penalty. But he was out of his crease. He was trying to recover from a missed play that he made. He was diving wildly. He was not in full control of himself. For me, I very much understand why the refs would view that differently and they would go ahead and call that penalty. I think that it's a totally fine penalty to call. Would I understand their logic if they didn't call it? Yes. But I very much understand their logic to call it, even though it's normal circumstances. If you were just to describe what happened and what caused the penalty, you would say that's not a penalty. I do think that this was extenuating circumstances and it should have resulted in a penalty. So they can argue about it, but I understand where the refs are coming from in this one, in a game that was very weird. When it came to officiating, we had that whole sequence where the goal for the Kraken was not allowed. It wasn't even really ruled a goal to begin with, but we never got an explanation in building of what ended up going on there. We're all just assuming that it was an intent to blow the whistle situation from the refs, and that's why play was dead, but we never got an explanation on when that was in the sequence. We didn't get an explanation on, it looked like the puck was under the Kings defenseman 44. I'm trying to remember who that is. Edmondson. It was under his arm for a brief amount of time before it's then poked in by Brandon Montour. No explanation as to why that wasn't maybe a covering the puck penalty, which would result in a penalty shot for the Kraken. There was just zero explanation for that entire sequence in building. I think that's unacceptable. I think that's BS on the part of the officials. I think you have to, at some point, explain to the building, because everybody here thought that they had just scored. I understood that it probably wasn't going to be a goal because the whistle was very, very delayed. So I was preparing myself for the whole intent to blow the whistle situation. Ridiculous not to explain it to everybody in the room and kind of own up to that, to just go to a TV timeout and then come out of the TV timeout and just start play again. I'm really not a fan of that. I thought that the officials could have handled that and should have handled that very differently and given everybody an explanation. They deserve an explanation from that. You know what I'm just saying? The people deserve it in the building. Broadcast too. Like, if you're watching from home, you deserve to understand that instead of just the broadcasters trying to make assumptions as to what's going on. It's just not a comfortable situation. It's not something that we should be kind of dealing with, right? Cupcake Scars, sweet relief. Can't stay for all post-game, but wanted to sell you a bit. Worried about Canner, but proud of our team. Love you, ECH and community. P.S. Why did they sit Carts? So they did not necessarily sit Carts. He was not a healthy scratch. Dealing with an illness today. That is why Ty Cartier was not in the lineup. Ben Myers gets called up. Ben Myers plays on the fourth line in Ty Cartier's spot. So it is not, don't worry, it was not Lane Lambert trying to send a message to Ty Cartier. It's not indictment on Ty Cartier's play here recently. It is strictly that he was just under the weather and not able to suit up tonight. We'll see if he's back in time for the game in Utah on Friday. But it's, who knows, depending on what the illness is and where he's at in the cycle of that. Got a super chat here from P-Boss. Really appreciate that. Awesome game from Maddie. It's time to step up and be the best player on this team. Appreciate the super chat. And yeah, it was a good game for Maddie Beniers. Going out there, matched up against the Kopitar line a lot. Very difficult matchup. Anze Kopitar, one of the best players in the National Hockey League and has been for over a decade at this point. And Maddie largely held his own. I think that it's one of those games that's really good for Maddie Beniers and is going to help him step up and become an even better player as he continues to grow and develop, because going up against a player who kind of has a similar profile to him, right? Not somebody who's going to ever go out and lead the league in scoring. but is going to play fantastic defense, try to be the number one center for his team. Anze Kopitar, obviously in that role, able to lead his team to multiple Stanley Cups as that kind of player. And there was lots of times where Maddie would go to challenge him and Kopitar would just pull out like a savvy vet move, right? Maddie's playing his good defense. He's going, he's doing all the things that he does that normally works, but he's going up against somebody special tonight. Kopitar would pull out some of those really special veteran savvy moves and make a play. And I think that it's one of those times where, you know, you're losing the battle, but you'll win the war long term for Matty Beniers, where he's going to be able to see those moves and he's going to go, oh, okay, I'm going to file that away. And one, it's going to mean that somebody else can't do that to Matty Beniers because he's going to know, you know, kind of what that looks like. He'll start to see the signs of that and be able to cover those plays defensively. But also, hopefully, he sees those plays and he goes, oh, okay, the next time I'm in that position, I can then go and make a play, you know, in the offensive zone. I'm heavily covered. The guy's all over me. I can do this move and I can go and make a play happen. There's a lot of those plays, particularly when Matty was starting to get Kopitar closed in on the boards. Matty would go to pin him against the boards. Kopitar always had a move ready to go to avoid getting stuck up against the boards and a board battle ensuing. He was just kind of always ready for that. I would love for Matty, who is, you know, little slighter of frame than Anze Kopitar is, if Matty picked up some of those moves so that the next time he's in the offensive zone, he doesn't get just pinned up against the boards in a board battle. He's able to make a play that's able to benefit the Kraken there and hopefully lead to an offensive chance. But so I love that, like, kind of game within a game that Matty Beniers had going for him tonight. But again, the game tying goal, love the power play stuff from him, the player movement there, him going to the middle of the ice, being in that position to pick up that goal. It was one of those that as the play is developing, you just know it's going to result in a goal. Love that for him. Hopefully we get to see more goals from him. Hopefully he heard that mandate from the team that everybody needs to be a little bit more selfish, and we see him start to shoot the puck a little bit more frequently, because I do think that if Matty Beniers is able to start scoring, that'll help out this team a lot, right? Whether it's always going to be on the power play, especially on 5-on-5, I think that is something that this team could use. They do need somebody to step up. You know, we'll see what the situation is with Jared McCann, but certainly if he's going to miss more time, this team really needs somebody to step up offensively. If Matty Beniers can start adding more and more offense to his game while keeping that elite level defense, he will be a special player for the Seattle Kraken. He will be their franchise player. He will be the guy. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It looks like I'm locked into the Capri Sun, according to everybody there in chat as I come back over to chat. So, I will tell Charles, we're just going to make this like a whole press bridge thing. Let's see. Lindsay, I still feel like Riker should sit after this one. The D still had some issues. Jamie Alexiak does make his return to the lineup in this one. He comes back in. Josh Mahura goes back to the press bridge. Alexiak was a little rough at times. Still, I think there's still some issues there. Riker Evans, the high stick is like the big one, right? You can't give them with, I think it was just under 6 minutes left in the game. You give them the double minor 4 minutes of power play time. Obviously, they were able to score pretty early on one, which I think does benefit the Kraken long term, in the sense that it meant that penalty ended quickly and then you only had 2 more minutes to kill. But it was a bad penalty to take. You got to be kind of aware of where your stick is when you're turning like that and trying to get back. And he struggled with the Kings forecheck. I mean, the Kings have a lot of big physical guys up front. I mean, I just talked about Anze Kopitar. He was always able to win the physical battles against Matty Beniers. He wins physical battles against basically everybody. I mean, that's just kind of what he does. But you look at other guys. I mean, Adrian Kempe, even though he leads their team, when it comes to creating dangerous chances and goals and all that kind of stuff, still a big physical player, able to go out there and kind of push Riker Evans around, something you don't really want to see. Riker Evans did seem to kind of struggle with that, physical play from them. It would mean that he would get bumped off of his spot and then he would have to recover and get back into position. And the Kings were able to take advantage of a lot of those, especially with their play kind of in and around the net front, right? They're dumping and chasing. They're forcing the play below the goal line or into the corner. Riker goes to make a play. He gets bumped. He's now out of position. He's not able to recover and get back to the net front. Kings had a lot of chances in the net front, and I will say a lot of those chances came against that Jamie Alexiak, Riker Evans pairing. So we will see what Lane Lambert kind of wants to do after this one. My guess is that we're probably not going to see any changes just because they did finally get the win. I think the only change we would realistically see would be Ty Cartier maybe returning to the lineup if he is healthy and ready to go. And then, of course, we'll see about Jared McCann's situation. But yeah, it's I don't know that we'll see a lot just because you want to try to keep this momentum. You want to try to keep things moving in a positive direction if you're Lane Lambert and kind of reward the effort and the stick-to-itiveness of the Kraken this evening. RJ in chat felt so awkward walking past all the Kings moms. Oh, it is kind of a brutal situation there. Poor LA Kings moms have to go into the room after this one, after watching the team blow it late, right? Like there's no other way to describe that. That's going to be uncomfortable. I'm not envious of any of the LA Kings players in this one having to go and face your mom after that. That's tough. That's tough. We were all talking on the press bridge, it's the Kraken dads are in the building. The Kings moms were in the building. Which group is going to motivate their children to play harder? Who do you not want to disappoint more, right? Who's scarier, the moms or the dads? Very mixed reaction on the press bridge as far as who we would all say individually. But yeah, it's going to be as uncomfortable as it was for RJ to have to walk past them. It's going to be that much more uncomfortable when they go into the room. I see some people in here with the quote from the Casey ad, the Kitsap Credit Union ad of the "It's possible," and you're right. Like that should be the quote for this one. So shout out to everybody who posted that in here. There's a lot of them, and they're kind of spread out. But wow, yeah, I hate that ad, but if that's what it's going to take, if we need Casey in here saying that it's possible to keep the faith and get the team going, then maybe we just have to do that. Ooh, but it's tough. that's tough. A lucky win, but it's still nice. Yeah, it is still nice. And again, sometimes you just need to get that bounce, get that opportunity, pick up the wins, stop the losing streak, get everybody reset, get everybody feeling good again, and then you're able to build off of that. That's generally what has happened with this team in the past, with this core group of players. Expecting to see something similar like that. RJ was in chat here saying taking forever to get the players and Lambert because they're all hanging out with their dads. I mean, that is great. Definitely want them to be celebrating with their families. I don't know when RJ put that in. It was about 10 minutes ago. He is up and getting ready right now to join us, so he will be on in just a second. Yeah, Christian adding, they didn't explain the intent to blow with veteran Wes McCauley officiating. All of us were pretty flabbergasted that they did not explain things there. Like it makes no sense why you don't say that. Maddie always, Maddie talking about Matty, always plays well in front of his folks. He does. We need to get them to move out here to the West Coast, get out of the Boston area, get out of New England, especially like this time of year. Why would you choose the Northeast winter when you could have the PNW winter, right? Like, I get like neither one is going to be like the example of great weather, but I have to imagine just the rain and stuff that we deal with here, it's got to be better than like the slushy snow and yuckiness that the Northeast has this time of year. Just need to get them to have like a Seattle snowbird, condo or something they can come to. They can get some season tickets. I'm sure Maddie's probably got a connection to get them in the building, and then they could be here for Maddie, and he can really step up and play in front of his family the way that he historically has. You're very right, Maddie, about Matty's play there. Got to bring RJ in here. RJ, what do you think about the idea of getting Matty Beniers' parents like a condo or something so that they could be out here to watch him play because he's always playing good. And I was saying they can snowbird from the Northeast winters to the Pacific Northwest winters.
Hey, I mean, that sounds like a good idea to me. I don't know if they'd be on board, if Maddie'd be on board, but hey, you got my approval for that one. If it's going to bring the scoring numbers up, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Now, we do have a super chat here from Dave. RJ in chat with a lot of fire emojis there. Thank you very much, Dave, for the super chat. Another super chat there from Dave. RJ, want to hear what the players had to say from this one, and want to hear especially what Lane Lambert had to say about this one, because as we've been talking about post game live, it was a rough game until about 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, as far as the players, it was a pretty joyous atmosphere because they had all the dads and mentors there. So I think the players are just having a fun time hanging out with them. That's why it took a little while for me to get to you here, because I think just, took a while for the players to come out and everything. But it's great to see everyone happy. It definitely would have been a very, very different mood had they not gotten this one done, I think. And it was also kind of awkward walking by all the Kings moms, as I put in chat. Yeah, I mean, they definitely seemed a little more down than the Kraken dads. But so that was fun. Vince Dunn talked about, just trusting the process, trusting the system, sticking with the way that they've been playing, and getting rewarded for it. And I think that was the overall takeaway from Lane Lambert as well. He definitely pointed to some issues that they could do better with, but he said, look, I'm glad the guys finally got rewarded for all the hard work they've been putting in. He thought they played well in this one. I don't know that I fully agree with that. But when you snap a losing streak like this, I feel like everybody just really wanted to be positive after this one, and I can't blame them.
They need it, right? After everything that you've gone through. And I'm sure they were feeling it on the bench too, up until they get that power play opportunity where you have to be sitting there if you're them, like everybody else in this building. I guess not everybody else in this building was sitting there thinking about this because they were all busy leaving. But everybody else has got to be, we're all sitting there thinking like, okay, here they go again, right? They've thrown away the ability to get to overtime, and they've gifted that extra point to the other team in the third period. Special teams in this case, off of the breakaway on the PK. Again, fourth game in a row that you've allowed one of those, right? I have to assume that was creeping into the players' minds as well, the coaching staff's minds as well. And so to be able to break free of that, even if it's only for a game, has to be huge.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it certainly had that feeling of, oh, here we go again. And I think, everyone probably felt it, especially when McCann goes down and gets hurt too. You feel, man, could this luck get any worse? But it turns around on that Matty Beniers goal. And I feel like you got all of the Team of Destiny vibes back all at once in that play. And once that happened, I felt like there's no chance they lose this, right? I mean, everyone was feeling it. Everyone was feeling good. And you break that cycle of feeling like, there's nothing we can do. We're going to lose every game. And I think a lot of that, again, it's just vibes based. Like, I don't even know how to explain it with this game. You look at this on paper, and I guess up until the mistake there to give up the 2-1 goal, you think, okay, this is just one of those games. It's going to go to overtime. It's going to be a coin flip. That's how it works. That's Kraken hockey. But after that goal to make it 2-1, I just was thinking, I don't know how you pull this one out and win it, but they found a way.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of feeling it when they got the power play with the 30 seconds left. It was like, oh, this is how they're going to do it, right? Like this is what.
No, I guess so. But my first thought was free shots at the empty net.
Yeah, see, you were sucked in from the losing streak, the mentality thing there.
Yeah, well, I knew it was going to at least go to overtime, just because we
were talking all day about it going to overtime. I mean, you had two teams with terrible offenses, two teams that don't allow goals, having to go up against each other. I mean, this felt like more so than any other game this season, destined for a 1-1 trip to overtime. Yeah,
it really felt that way. It took a lot to make it not that way. I guess really it just took some extra penalties because there's not a single even strength goal in this game. You can't have it. Can't score at even strength. Neither team.
Nope. Got another super chat here from Dave. RJ live now. Whoop whoop. So appreciate that from you, Dave. What else did everybody kind of have to say about this one?
Yeah, so I mean, Lambert, I asked, well, first of all, I don't know if people were wondering about this, but I did ask Lambert about that play in the second period where the puck was kind of, in the crease or whatever, got knocked in, maybe after the whistle, all that. So the explanation that he was given was that the ref just blew the whistle kind of early. He lost sight of it. And, he was very kind to the officials on that one. He said, look, it's tough it's a tough job. Sometimes you lose sight of the puck. These kind of things happen. But that's all it was. It was just the whistle that was blown or intended to be blown earlier before the puck went in. So that's the explanation on that one. And also, I was thinking about it too. If the whistle was that early, or if it was intended to be blown that early, doesn't really matter where the puck is. If the ref lost sight of it, he can't then assume that it's under the player. So that's what the call was there. Again, I don't know how much people were wondering about that, but that's the explanation Lane Lambert was given. But he talked about also facing the adversity of that play, and he liked the way that his team responded to it as well, especially given the situation they're in and the losing streak and the special circumstance that has. The way they didn't get down, they didn't play worse after that, right? They responded pretty well to it. I think that's just been consistent though all year. Like, this team doesn't give up. They don't let that stuff get them down, because usually they're able to rebound from it and respond to it. They are back to 5-5. They're back to 500 when trailing by a goal in the third period. They are 5-5-2 when trailing by a goal in the third period. This thing, it sounds like the most unsustainable thing ever, because it feels like it, right? But it keeps happening. So I don't know what to make of it. But they're near automatic. Like, half the time they are gonna, they're gonna get a point.
Yeah, it's still insane to even think about that, especially as we're like getting into December. Like, it's not, we're a healthy amount into the season, approaching 30 games here. Schultz with the super chat here: needed a national TV game to break the ECH curse. Lots of talk about breaking the post-game live curse in this one. It's been great to be able to see all the dancing emojis and everybody having fun in here. Got a huge pledge from Kitty B Kraken, $50 for here on out for every post-game live where the Kraken win. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
It could get expensive if the curse is truly broken.
I was gonna say, fingers crossed on that one, right? But yeah, lots of good things there. I want to talk to you about special teams, RJ. I've talked a lot about the Kraken power play in this one. All three of their goals come on the power play in this one. One of the Kings' goals even comes on their power play in this one. But what did you think about the Kraken power play? And if anybody talked about it post game, what they had to say?
Yeah, so Vince Dunn actually talked about it a little bit as far as what's different. He said, I'm sure you've noticed there's some differences there. And the big thing that he pointed out was just the fact that they're not afraid to shoot, and they're shooting it more, especially from the point. And he said it sucks when it gets blocked. You do have to worry about that, but at a certain point, you just got to get over it, because it generates some good chances on rebounds on those chances in front. So I think that's been a directive, especially from the players like him at the point: shoot more. And don't be afraid if it goes into legs or gets blocked or comes out the other way. You have to put those pucks on net, especially when you're up a man. So that's the thing that Vince Dunn talked about. But I think the puck movement has been better on the power play recently. But again, it's that willingness to shoot and get guys to the net. It's a simplification, I think, is kind of the way it was described, where, yeah, you're not trying to do anything crazy, but you're also realizing you're on the clock here. Like, it feels like everyone has an internal shot clock now, whereas before it was just zeroed out. There was no pressure to shoot whatsoever, and it feels like that's changed a little bit.
Yeah, in the post-game interview he did with Piper, Vince Dunn said that, got to be selfish right now and take those shots, and kind of talked about that. I talked a lot about the player movement. I still think that that's been really important, and you look at both that last goal from Vince Dunn, the first goal from Jared McCann, you had that there. You had that player movement there. Happy to see that. Zach, I'd retire too if I was Kopitar, and that was the LA Kings power play. On the other side of things, RJ, you do have the penalty kill for the Kraken, which, yes, you got to go up against this atrocious Los Angeles Kings power play tonight. Looked good until they didn't, RJ, and they did allow another breakaway opportunity on the PK. Did Lambert talk about that one at all?
He didn't, and I burned my one question on asking about the explanation on the thing. I kind of regretted it afterward, because here's the thing. It's one I can ask in practice too, like if they practice tomorrow, which maybe they won't, but I can at least ask that and try and get that answered. Because look, this is where I'm going to be the harshest on the Kraken. I wanted to save it for a little bit into the post game, but look, I'm not going to hold back on them, because this very morning, Lane Lambert was asked about the PK, and he pointed out, as he did after the last game too, it's been 3 games in a row at that point that the Kraken have allowed a breakaway while on the PK. That cannot happen. And he said as much. He said, that's unacceptable, can't happen, it needs to stop. And he was very blunt about that. That's the one big mistake he highlighted this morning that you cannot make. And they made it at the most key time of the game. When it's tied 1-1 in the third period, you made the one mistake your coach said absolutely has to stop and cannot happen. That's unacceptable. And it should have lost them the game. I'm sorry, but the Kraken, after making that mistake, they deserve to lose tonight. I love the team of destiny. I love the heroics. It's all fun for everybody, but that's a mistake you cannot make. And I think take away all the other PK success from tonight. If you blow that, none of it matters. So I will not give the PK any credit. Also, because the Kings power play is just so bad. It is so bad. I see why it's under 10% net. Like, it is awful. So, there's that on the opponent's side, but also you made the one mistake you can't make. So the PK, I still need to see more from.
Yep. A couple things here to get to. Christian asking, I've always wondered, is there a power play /PK /game clock on the ice for players to see? There is not. It is just them having to look up at the board, same as anybody else in the building. Yep. Not like basketball or something where you kind of have that behind the net there.
Well, I think on the underside, I believe on the underside of the Twins, there's a clock.
Yes.
There, so they can look up, and of course, it's harder to see the edges of it. But on the underside, and I think fans could probably see it a little bit too if you're sitting close to the glass. But there is that.
Yeah. But you're having to look up at
yes, it's not on the not at ice level.
But yes, for anybody who doesn't know, under most Jumbotron type situations, there is information down there for anybody sitting in the really expensive seats down low, and for the players down there on the benches to have. Viren, new expected goals for high on the season, according to Allison's Sport Logic numbers for the Kraken in this one. So again, that kind of selfishness. They had 33 shots on goal, which felt like a good, healthy number to me, RJ. I talked about that earlier, but it does feel like the Kraken are kind of trying to change things offensively there and get those chances.
Yeah, and overall, I was happy with what I saw there, especially in a game where, look, you knew it was going to be just kind of deadlocked 1-1 for a long time. I'd be curious what the total would be if you exclude the final, say, minute and a half of this game and overtime. But still, I mean, that's a healthy shot count.
Yeah, exactly. And then from El Bell, Money Puck has Joey with the 2.7 goals saved above expected. Very happy to see Joey have a good game again. I know there was something earlier I wasn't able to get to where, this game kind of helped save Joey's save percentage a little bit, because it's been a little bit of a rough go for Joey here lately. Did get the break from the last game. Grubauer got that start against Minnesota. It felt like Joey was more or less back.
Yeah, I think so too. And by the way, we did talk to Joey after the game. He was there with his dad too. It's just him and his dad side by side in the media scrum. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, Joey clearly didn't, say anything directly, but clearly proud there to have done so and got the win for his dad, goalie coach, of course, to have him around there. So that was fun. And yeah, on that save that he made, like where Riker Evans took that puck to the face or whatever. I mean, he kind of just was scrambly on that one. He's like, wait, yeah, did Riker get that puck in the face? He was asking us about details of that play, because he didn't know it for sure. But he also praised the PK in this one. I know I just, was really tough on the PK, but Joey said he was really proud of how they played on the PKs. Like, I know we gave one up, but, he thought it was really good. So,
yeah. It's probably good that he says that to that group there. Schultz has a suggestion for the Utah game. If Ty Karche's not back from dealing with the illness and Jared McCann's not able to go versus Utah, Schultz is suggesting putting Mahura in and going 11-7. Give Monty some time as a forward, potentially even. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the Monty at forward thing, there's no chance Lane Lambert's going to do that. And I think that's probably the right call.
Your blue line
covers so much ice.
Your blue line would be slow if Montour was not on it.
Yeah, that would be bad. And also, he just covers so much ice as a defenseman. He basically plays forward whenever it makes sense in the play. Like, that's just what he does already. So you don't need to move him there officially. But, I think as far as going 11-7, have the Kraken ever really done that? They've never been one of those teams that does that.
No, I can't recall of a time where they've done that.
Because I haven't needed to change my lineup graphics at all. I would have known, because that would have messed me up on my lineup graphics. I'm not ready for it. So I guess I'll say I'm against it for that reason, because my lineup graphic has no way to account for that.
Yeah, exactly. Just stick an extra defenseman face like just in there somewhere.
Yeah. I'll make some way of looking. I'll find some way of making it look all janky and just weird.
Yeah. That being said, like, I do think conceptually, like, the idea of it is not terrible. I don't hate Ben Myers. I think Ben Myers always does a good job when he comes into the lineup. So if you ran him as your 12th forward, I don't think it's a bad thing by any stretch. But limiting, having Bahura, who we both think has played pretty decent so far this season, in, and then maybe having him take some minutes off of Jamie Alexiak and Riker Evans, that doesn't sound too terrible to me as an idea.
Yeah, no, that's not the worst idea. I think the only place you sacrifice is I just think the Kraken have done really well having a consistent fourth line. Usually that's one of the lines that does better for them. And so if you're doubling guys there and kind of messing with the chemistry, does that have any effect? I'm not sure. But still, yeah, I don't hate it on the blue line part of it. I just do think you sacrifice on the forward group.
Yeah. Some people are asking. So we got one from James. Maddie didn't eat his fish. Is he okay? And then Elbel saying, was that Maddie's fish that Dunn yeeted? I'm assuming you didn't have this information beforehand to ask.
No, I didn't.
There. But we're gonna have to dig into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we as far as like the player requests and stuff, Maddie was swapped out for Dunn because Dunn, of course, got the game winner. So that, is different. And then, I mean, we had to swap out someone from McCann as well, but that's for obvious reasons. So, but nothing on Maddie.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Scott pointing out that when it comes to the power play, PK time and game clock situation, that goalies will tap their stick on the ice to warn guys when time is running out on special teams, and it is pretty much unspoken that like whichever goalie the puck is not in their zone is the one that does that.
I thought it was just if you're on the power play. It's just the goalie who's on the power play.
So, yeah, usually
like it's for
usually
the other team's guys
zone.
coming out of the box.
I've seen it done for teams on the PK just to like let them know. Yeah, have you not?
Huh. No, I haven't.
You do it all the time. Like not all the time because again, usually the puck's not in your zone.
Well, you wouldn't want to alert if it's your guy coming out of the box. You wouldn't want to alert the other team to that.
Yeah, well, usually it's like when they have the puck like they're trying to cycle or something because it's like. I don't know. Reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah, maybe.
Like again, it's an unusual situation because it's not frequent that you would have somebody in that zone. But I have definitely seen. Certainly, you see it at lower levels, but I've seen it at the NHL.
Point it out to me next time you see it.
Yeah, I will. So yes, there's the Maddie fish situation there. Done throughout 2 fish. Interesting. I wonder if because Maddie was 3rd star. I wonder if he just like forgot the fish or they just didn't have it ready in time for him. Like, did he
could be as simple as
fish
that.
and then he just never threw it? That doesn't seem likely.
No, I don't know. But it could be some simple like logistics thing like that. That's just nothing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, everybody is asking about it, but that's my best guess, everybody, is that they were, especially given how fast everything happened late in this one, that they were probably not expecting that scenario to come out. They would have had the rush. They might not have had the fish ready to be eaten when Maddie took his skate as 3rd star there. That's my guess. And then Zoe asking, have we talked favorite goals yet? We have not. So RJ, favorite goal from this one?
My favorite goal, I think, was the first one. I think it was the first because I can't. Okay, on the play itself, it's the tying goal from Matty Beniers because I love how he kind of cuts to the net front and the player movement and all that stuff. But I just can't after I don't know. Given the mistake on the PK, I'm like it lets them get away with it, so I can't. So I'll do the first goal on the power play, the McCann one.
Okay, I mean that's fine. I like.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be a stickler here.
I like that one. I like the player movement on the power play for that first goal and everything. I'm rewatching them all right now just because it's been a second. I need to rewatch the Maddie one anyway.
Well, I like the killer instinct on that one too because you get lucky with the broken stick, and so you have a temporary 5-on-3, but there's no hesitation. You set up a play and you fire it away. And I think if it's someone besides Jared McCann out there on that power play for whatever reason he's just not playing in this game, I don't think they do that.
Probably not. Yes, I agree.
Maybe with the point of emphasis now being on shooting more, maybe they do. But I don't know. McCann's a shooter. He shot it.
Well, and that's something that I like to see rewarded with the Matty Beniers goal. So I'll go with the Matty Beniers goal. Okay. Matty Beniers just dive bombing down the center of the ice like that to try to make something happen and put himself in a prime scoring area, and he's able to get that redirection and get the goal there. That's something that we have not seen from him. It's something that he's needed to do. Lots of guys on this team haven't been doing it and need to be doing it, but Matty Beniers is definitely one of them. And he does it, he gets rewarded. Hopefully that means he's going to continue to do it, or at least, try to do it on the power play more, right? Like if even if he can only get going on the power play and go to those areas of the ice on the power play. I mean, we've been talking for years at this point about Matty Beniers needs to go to the inside a little bit more. He's such a perimeter player. If it takes being on the power play to do that, that's fine, because his power play production has been pretty much non-existent throughout his career. So, I'll take it and hopefully take it as a sign of things to come.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. As far as just that play alone in a vacuum, yeah, I'm glad he got rewarded for that.
Yeah. I will let you go if you need to get going, RJ. I know you have a beer league game you kind of have to get to. It's already started, actually, so you got to see.
Yeah, it's already been going for 25 minutes. I don't even know how much of this game I'm going to get to, but
yeah. But you are released if you need it.
All right. Well, thank you, Dylan. Thanks for holding it down. Really appreciate it. And then thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah. Let's see here. I gotta switch this back. Yeah. Maybe you should hate more on Dunn's goal. I bet they feel better after a win than an OTL. Yeah, I mean, like, I love the Dunn goal too, right? The give and go nature of it. Like, it's a good goal too, but I just think the importance of Matty Beniers kind of doing what he did on that one was important. Olivia asking, oh, bummer, we just lost RJ, about the F1 helmet. We haven't seen it in so long. That is true. I forgot who has it. Like, who is the keeper of the helmet right now? I mean, obviously the equipment team is, but from a player perspective, it's been a long time since we've seen that F1 helmet given out to anybody. That's a very good question. I guess we'll just have to wait for the social media post from the team. Hopefully they remember to do that. It's been a while since the social team has had to has to look at that. Okay, Zoe and Byron is Montour. Yeah, no, it's that makes sense to me. That Montour had it. I mean, really, every time they play, it seems like he's the best player out there. So that's cool. Did Montour have it originally, and then we don't know who it's gone to? That's what I'm assuming is the situation. Because it would be a little odd, I think, for Montour to get it after this game. But hey, who knows? And then Viren, I was referring to RJ's. They must be punished for playing badly. Yeah, I knew what you were going for there, but RJ was gone. Yeah, so yes, it was Montour who had it. So we'll see who Monty decides to give it to in this one. Lots of good options. I mean, Joey getting back on track and doing what he did, keeping the team in this game. Vince Dunn for having that shooter mentality and picking up that goal there. And then, of course, Matty Beniers, like I just talked about on his goal, stepping up and doing something that we know is not natural for him. It's not his instinct to play that way, but it was so important, and it came in so clutch for this team. They were able to get that goal and tied the game. I'll do a really quick last call here for everybody. I'll talk one more time about Queen Anne Beer Hall while you put in your final questions here for Post Game Live as we finish up this ECH dance party. But yeah, Queen Anne Beer Hall again. Went to it after the last game, had a great time there. Stays open nice and late. Kitchen stays open till 11:30. Kitchen's still open now. If you want to go and check it out during the week there. Love that. Love being able to go grab a pretzel, grab some wings, get the $5 smash burger. They have the cinnamon pretzels right now. I'm pretty sure those are just a holiday thing. I had one at each of the 2 watch parties we've had there. If they've got the cinnamon pretzel, you got to get the cinnamon pretzel. It is so freaking good. And if it's not, still get dessert, get the beignets. Those are always incredible when they have them. They do sell out of the beignets pretty much daily in my experience. So if you're there early enough, try to get the beignets because they're fantastic as well. And that's not something you normally find in up here anyway. I don't know too many places that aren't like a bakery, a pastry shop that are going to have those. So some good stuff there. Christian Eskin, are there going to be more beer hall watch parties this season? Yes, the plan is to try to do them monthly. So we got the December one out of the way early because we know later in December there's not a lot of people in town. But the idea is to have them monthly, and then we'll also start spreading out to the 2 other locations as well, including out there in Kirkland, the Moss Bay Hall location. That is definitely the case. Viren, if Dunn gets the F1 helmet, it would be the longest ever streak of a player of the game going to a defender at 4. Interesting. I would make sense, especially this year. I mean, the defenders are the ones scoring, right? The defensemen, they're the guys doing everything. So I would understand it going to a blue liner that many times. I guess the one thing that you would have assumed is that a goalie would have gotten it somewhere in there just because it's the goalie, and this is a team that plays low-scoring games, so goalies generally perform pretty well for this group. So that's interesting. Um, and Zoe saying it should go to Dunn. He hasn't had it this season. That's also interesting. Definitely a player I think who has earned it on more than just tonight's occasion. So yeah, I'm with you there, Zoe. Probably should go to Vince Dunn then. And then Jake saying, can we talk about the right Kako Newman line? I thought they looked good, and since we don't have Catton, yes, we liked what they were doing last game. I talked about it briefly on the deep dive yesterday, and I thought they were able to pick back right up this game and play well. I'm liking Yanni Newman. There's, sure, there's the struggles that he has at certain times. This Kings team, I talked earlier about how big and physical they are, especially their forward group. They were able to knock him off the puck a couple times, but largely I like Yanni Newman and what he's bringing to this team. He has that shoot first mentality that they're trying to drill into everybody else's heads. He just has it instinctively. I like that. So I think he's been looking good so far. And the fact that has the potential to go out there on a power play. Again, we'll see about the Jared McCann situation, but if Jared McCann's going to miss any time, I would think that would elevate Tolvin into the first unit power play, and then that creates an opportunity for Yanni Newman on the second unit, and I think that would be something that would be really nice for him. Capo Caco doing what he does. I think him playing with the younger players is really interesting. I think it's working out really well in the sense that he's able to truly just focus on making space out there, especially in the offensive zone. Capo Caco, just his presence that he has around the net means that there is always going to be at least one defenseman, and usually it's a defenseman and the center who are both kind of tied up and dealing with him and trying to keep their goalie's sight line available, because Capo Caco is he's too much for any one man to handle out there when he's trying to get going in the offensive zone. He's also just really smart at making plays with the below the net cycle. And so Lane Lambert bringing that system in to this team, it fits Capo Caco so perfectly. The little plays that he's able to make below the net that not only frees up space, but keeps the puck moving in different ways. He's really good at reading the defense and able to make plays either back the way the puck came or push it along forward. And so it keeps the D guessing. They can't really kind of get the jump or the read on what he's going to do with the puck when he has it behind the net. That I think has also been benefiting this line, because it just kind of locks up the D, and then you're able to try to find open ice if you're Shane Wright, who's the last guy that I will talk about here, who I do think is really starting to play better in the offensive zone, does seem to be looking a little bit more aggressive. Wasn't able to get a ton of shots tonight that I noticed. I could try to pull up his shot number real quick here, but there was a lot of opportunities where he was like one bounce away, and you could tell that he was ready to shoot. There was a couple times he had to stick up, like he was really ready to get at the puck there, and it just would bounce, or the King at the last second would kind of poke it away or divert it, something like that. But I do think that Shane Wright is starting to play more aggressively. I think that it's not a coincidence that happens since he's had Capo Caco, and Capo Caco is kind of taking over that role of being the guy going in on the forecheck and trying to create that space, and creating that space. It's allowing Shane Wright to be aggressive in a way that he just was not playing like before. And I really do appreciate that from Shane Wright. He had 2 shots on goal tonight. That's good for Shane Wright. Any game he can have more than one is a real positive step in the right direction for Shane Wright. And so he was able to get those two shots tonight. I want to see how much ice time he had. 13:39. So still not a ton of ice time, but I do think that line is playing exceptionally well. And also Shane Wright had some really good back checks in this one. There was a couple times where I audibly turned to RJ, turned to whoever was around me, and I was just like, that was a nice play by Shane in the D zone, especially in the first period. Kings 3 or 4 times tried to make this play as their breakout out of the out of the defensive zone for them. They'd set up on the far half board, and then they would send kind of a diagonal pass over to the opposite side blue line, and that was kind of the way that they would break the puck out. They did it a couple times. I noticed it. Shane Wright definitely noticed it, because then he immediately, the next time he was on the ice, he swept through and he got right in the lane, and he was able to get a piece of the puck. It still got through to Kopitar. The Kings did not try that breakout the entire rest of the night. like Shane, coach who pointed it out to Shane, and then Shane was able to do it on the ice. I don't know what the sequence of events was, but Shane Wright was the player to get into that passing lane and stop that form of Kings breakout. And the Kings were like, oh, they're on to us. And the Kings then had to change their game plan for the entire rest of the game. And Shane Wright did this with like 8 minutes left in the first. Right. So I thought that was really impressive. And that was probably like my top thing for Shane Wright in this game, was just him kind of derailing what the Kings' entire plan to get out of their own zone was. So, just gonna throw that out there. All right. I think that's probably going to do it here. Christian asked, does anybody know who yells out, yeah, on the helmet videos? Been trying to figure it out since year one. I thought it was Borgen, but he's gone, and the yeah is still there. I know it's a vague question. Sorry. It's a good question, though. I'm trying to think. I'll have to listen to it again. I might be able to figure it out. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But it's a good question. The fish eats are a good question. But unfortunately, do not have an answer here tonight. But we got to celebrate a win here on Emerald City Hockey post game live. We had a dance party finally for the first time in many weeks, many long weeks. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Queen Anne Beer Hall one last time for sponsoring post game live, as they do each and every game. Appreciate all of you joining us. Appreciate all the super chats from everybody. Very generous of all of you. Very much appreciated. That's going to do it for this post game live. Thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.